Hi guys, welcome to A Cumbrian Lad Outdoors and welcome to today's video. Today is new tent day. Is there anything better than new tent day? I don't think so. If you've been following the channel, you'll know I've got Hadrian's Wall Walk upcoming this year and I've been trying to lighten my pack weight and my pack size. I've got a new sleeping bag. I've also got a new rucksack. The Nightcat one-person ultralight trekking pole tent is gone. Not that there's anything wrong with it, an absolutely fantastic tent, but me and trekking pole tents do not get on. It's taken me a little bit of time to figure that out. Also, you know me, I do my research. I like to spend a lot of time researching the kit before I spend my money on it. There's no point rushing into these things that cost a lot of money. You need to make sure that you think it's going to be the right purchase for you. I've been looking at Nordisk Telemark tents. I've been looking at the Nordisk Lofuten. But then one of my old brands decided they were going to bring out an ultralight tent. Now it is a little bit more expensive than the normal range, but no surprise to you, I have gone for the latest version of the Oex Phoxx 1 ultralight. To me, this is clearly based on the Nordisk Lofuten one-man ultralightweight tent. It looks very similar. It's very similar in specs and sizes. So without further ado, let's have a look at the Oex Phoxx 1 ultralight. Now packed like this, it weighs 860 grams. But if you cut all the bagging out of it and cut it right down to the bare bones, it weighs 715 grams. And it's made of the latest Enlighten sil nylon material. The bag itself is made out of the same sil nylon that the tent is. It's ultra thin, virtually see-through, and it feels very silky, thin and light. You get a little repair kit. So inside there is various amounts of fabric for if you rip it, some silicone seam sealer, an emergency length of pipe for if you break your poles when you're out on the fells, and a brush for seam sealing it, because this tent needs seam seal. It doesn't come seam sealed from the factory. It does state that this is a modern lightweight silicone nylon tent and it's common for these type of tents not to come seam sealed from the factory. Might be common, doesn't mean it's right. Seam seal your tents so we don't have to. Send us the spares so we can reseal them, but seal your tents so we don't have to. It's not right. And there we go. We've got all the types of material inside there, from the mesh to the thicker mesh to the floor to the outer tent. So everything you need there to repair your tent. I'll just give you a little close-up on this as well, because I like what they've done with these little bags. All the bags are made of the same material, but instead of having a drawstring toggle, they've just made it so it folds over, which is much neater, much tighter and much lighter. And then we get to the tent itself. Now the first thing that I noticed when I looked at the Phoxx 1 ultralightweight was the fact that Oex have made it out of pitch first, or as is, all in one pitch first, which is 100% the right thing to do. You get your pole bag, which once again, I do like this new design where it's just a fold over. And we've got the pole inside there. So you've got your main pole, which is for the loop of the tent. And you can see there, it actually comes pre-bent. And then for the bottom end of the tent, you've got one tiny pole, which gives you your support at the bottom. These are Oex Enduro poles made out of aluminium, lightweight and really strong. Then we've got your peg bag, once again, the fold over top. Let's have a look at these. Yep, they have definitely upgraded the pegs. You can see there we've got a Y design that is actually twisted like a corkscrew. Good length. You've got your bit of string on to pull them out, and they are nice and lightweight. and then the tent itself, which comes in the bag in two halves, your inner and your outer. For me, once I put this together, it will stay together and it'll be an all-in-one setup. Let's get the outer put up first. We'll have a look at that, and then we'll get the inner put inside that. We'll peg the back to the floor first. And then we'll put the centre pole in. And that pole goes through there much easier than my centre pole does in the scarp. That is 100% for sure. That was really easy. Then we'll pull the footbox out and we'll roughly peg that down for now. And then at the bottom end of the tent, we've got a tube, an area where the top end of that pole goes in. Make sure that's in the right spot. And then it goes into the little clip on the floor, which is a little tricky, but it's not too bad. And then we peg out this bottom section, which gives you your support. I am on a little bit of a pitch here, so it does look a little bit slightly to one side, but that's because of where I am. There's the outer setup. Before I guy the two sides out, we'll have a look inside, and then we'll get that inner put in. You can see how thin that material is. You can see my hand through it. We've got some good strong Velcro. And there we are. Without the inner, it is quite spacious, and rather than having the usual fat cord across the bottom, they've just got one piece of string, which I like because it saves both weight and space. Let's roll that door up. And they've given you two little toggles this time, opposed to the one that's on the one that I'm used to. They are a little fiddly, but they've got the toggles. I'll show you close up in a minute, so you can pull it tight and just pull them shut like that. And that keeps that door well out the way. Unlike my scarf, which has got little hooks, these have got little buckles that are similar to what's on your rucksack. And they just clip inside, so we're going to get that done. You can see there, I've got the inner in. You've got two clips at the top end. You've got one on the side with no vestibule, and you've got two at the bottom. So before I go any further, I'm going to pull all those tight so I know it's in the right position. And that is the inner fully in now, and you can see she's quite taut. Once the lower ones at the top, the bottom and the other side are done, these ones have no adjustment, but they are on elastic. And they've also given you a loop to peg to get out this area here into your porch area, which is actually an awful lot bigger than the Phoxx 1 and the Phoxx 2 originals. The outer fly sheet is 1,500 hydrostatic head sil nylon. The floor is 3,000 hydrostatic head, and you've got a dual layer mesh. So you've got a thicker mesh here to stop the wind, and then you've got your thinner mesh here so you can still see out if the weather's fine. This time they have opted for an L zip rather than one that goes all the way around. I'm not sure whether I agree with that. Personally, I would have rather had an all-in-one zip there, for sure. And the same again on the inner mesh. You've got two toggles. You roll the inner mesh up, pull the toggle through, and then pull it tight. And that is a little bit fiddly, but it does work well. And there we go. That is the Oex Phoxx 1 plus ultra lightweight tent all set up. And I think that looks pretty good. Don't get me wrong, you are picking your battles with this tent. This tent is clearly designed for summer camping, when you're not having to spend hours inside your tent. You don't need as much room, you can sit out, enjoy the sunshine and the views, and for multi-day hiking. And I've already heard some of you saying, Paul, it's only 1,500 hydrostatic head. Well, yes it is, there's no denying that, but a lot of people don't understand how the hydrostatic head system works. If you've got a tube 100 millimeters wide and 1.5 meters tall, full of water, sat on top of that tent, that material will not leak. So that material is waterproof and it will handle heavy rain. But quite clearly, this tent is not designed for constant all night, all day, all night rain with wind. That's when this tent will fail. And at this point, it's also worthwhile mentioning that, as I've already mentioned, this is clearly based on the Nordisk Lofuten. It is only 100 less on the hydrostatic head than that tent. It's 25 centimeters taller at the apex, and it's also 10 centimeters longer. The Lofuten is £600. This tent is £169. That is value for money. You can see here just how similar the Phoxx 1 Ultralight is to the Nordisk Lofuten. Very similar indeed. And here's the dimensions for both tents. You can see you get quite a lot more room in the Phoxx 1 Plus Ultralight. And you can see here, when I've took the poles out, I've managed to get it packed down a lot smaller, approximately 18 by 16 centimeters. And you're also saying, Paul, you're 6'3". You're never going to fit in that tent, mate. Never in a million years. Let's find out, shall we? Well, here we are. That's me inside the Phoxx 1 Ultralight. Sat upright, albeit just. I am not quite fully sat upright, but I'm comfortable enough. So it's more than enough room for a fella of my size. I'm going to lie down and I'm going to put my feet right at the very bottom end of the footbox. You can see there, my feet are touching the very bottom of the footbox. And I'm laid down with room to spare. Although when I sit up, my head does brush this mesh here. For multi-day hiking and for summer use, I can definitely put up with that. You can see the vent at the bottom of the mesh and one leading to the outside. No vent at the back. You've got one pocket here, but we'll just let this outer door down. So that is the outer door, zip right down. It's a dual zip, so very similar to my scarp. Because this rain cover on the outside sits proud, I've got ventilation there for letting the moisture escape and cooking. And as I've already mentioned, the porch size has actually surprised me. There's more than enough room in here for me to get all my gear and cook if need be. And just enough room inside either side of me and top and bottom to put my kit that needs to come inside the tent. All in all, I am very, very, very happy with the purchase of the Oex Phoxx 1 Plus Ultralight. Just enough room for me, the bare essentials for summer camping and long distance walks. £169 is still a lot of money, but for me, I think that is well worth the price tag, especially when you compare it next to something like the Nordisk Lofuten, which is no doubt better quality, but value for money. I think this little tent is an absolute beast, and I'm really looking forward to getting out camping in her very soon. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to my first look and review of the Oex Phoxx 1 Plus Ultralight tent. Till next time, stay safe, much love from a Cumbrian lad.